Game Plus.
All right, man. We're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
You as well, man. You and I have been kind of going at it a little bit today. This is a special episode.
It is, yeah. I think we've been agreeing a little too much on stuff. So today we are probably going to, things might get a little heated. So just warning you ahead of time.
So if this is your first time here, we're New Game Plus. And today we are going to be getting into a couple different things. First of all, we're going to be reviewing and discussing Super Mario Wonder.
Yep.
The first entry in the Mario universe that's been side-scrolling in, 10 years? Close to?
Probably, yeah. 3DS? I think was the last one. New Super Mario Brothers 2.
New Super Mario Brothers 2, I think, yeah.
Might have been. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And also, we are going to be ranking our top 5 Mario games of all time. So this is going to be a passionate and heated discussion, as Brendan has already illustrated.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can't even agree on what a Mario game is, right?
That's true.
I mean, because, we were trying to set this up ahead of time, and, there was sort of these criteria that John threw out that I don't necessarily agree with, even though it didn't actually end up mattering. But, for example, no sports games was one of these.
I didn't say no sports games. I
said you started with no sports games.
I said it has to be part of the Mario, the Mario specific canon. So like Mario Brothers, New Super Mario Brothers, Mario 64, something that's like a main Mario title,
right?
Like exclusively. But you're like, oh, what about like Mario Tennis? And I'm like,
Mario Strikers.
Mario, yeah, like, and I'm like,
if we did top 10, Mario Strikers would have made it.
Really?
Oh yeah, that game, the GameCube one, incredible game.
Interesting. I've never played that, so I have no knowledge.
When we're not, doing podcasts, I'll throw it in there for the GameCube.
School it.
I'll school you with Peach.
Peach is always the way, honestly.
Yeah, really, yeah. Smash?
I'm not a Smash fan, so I don't know if that's something we talk about here, but like...
I would agree that Smash doesn't really count as a Mario game.
We just made so many people upset right now.
I know, but Donkey Kong does, though.
Okay.
And I want people in the comments tell me if Donkey Kong, the original, is a Mario game, because you play as Mario.
You do play as Mario.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
But like this is where it gets hairy, because like it's not a Mario game, and technically, if you want to get technical, he wasn't even Mario as a character yet in that game. Like he was still like
Jumpman.
Red Jumpman or something like that. Yeah.
Jumpman.
So like this is where we get into that shit that like we just lose any sort of sexuality that we might have with anybody, because it just goes to show how fucking nerdy we are. like this is just like, this is where we like, you and I split hairs because we're a couple of jerk off hipsters. If we had, this would be a fedora episode. We should all be wearing fedoras and just like tip them at each other.
I have a Waluigi hat over there. Is that?
Kind of, it does count.
I should have, yeah. He's a hipster. But yeah, no, just for the record, Donkey Kong is a Mario game.
Donkey Kong is an amazing game.
Yeah.
I will give it that too. It's an amazing game.
Yeah, it's a platformer.
Yeah.
You're an Italian plumber named Mario, even if that's a retcon.
Yeah, and it is a retcon.
Yeah, but all right, agree to disagree.
So that's the kind of episode you're getting into here. But we thought it was important that there's a new Mario coming out. A new Mario doesn't happen all the time, and
it came out.
Yeah, it did come out.
Yeah,
we've both been living with it for a little bit, not too long, but
a couple days.
Yep. But yeah, like we thought it was important that we discussed our favorite Mario games while discussing this one. Flies.
Ugh. Start with Wonder?
Or do you want to start with the top 5?
I feel like that'll take longer.
Okay, yeah, we
get
can,
through the
we can
top
do that.
5.
Yeah, and then stick around for our review of Super Mario Wonder at the end of this.
Yeah, if we're still on speaking terms.
Hopefully we will be.
I hope so. But we each have to say our piece.
So, do you want to start with your least favorite to your favorite? We'll start from 5 to 1.
I think that's how we should do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll let you start off
You
first.
want me to start off?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I have an honorable mention.
Okay.
So, honorable mention is New Super Mario Brothers 2 for the DS, 3DS.
Okay.
I feel like as far as like a side-scrolling one, really good. Didn't really add too much to anything. You had like the big mushroom and stuff, but it captured that old school Mario feel pretty well. So that's my honorable mention. That's not on the list. Number 5, Mario Teaches Typing.
Wait, what?
Yes.
All right. Are you like just trying to be like
No.
like you just that's like really
That's number 5.
that's
yes.
really one of your favorite
Yes.
Mario games ever?
Oh yeah.
All right, explain yourself.
I mean, I grew up with that, you know? It was like, oh, you got to be stuck in school doing schoolwork and it's Mario. Like, that's dope. And he's like, it has all the music, it has all the levels. It is, by the way, fun fact, the first Charles Martinet voice acting as Mario, who's, you know, famously.
No, absolutely. He is Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's number 5.
Mario Teaches Typing.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna do some shit like this. Where you're just like trying to be like trying to be that guy. One fedora for you, right off the bat. Jesus. So my number 5 is the original Super Mario Brothers for the NES.
Okay.
While I do think, oh my god. So the original Super Mario Brothers for the NES, I do think that while it is a classic and one of the most, probably arguably one of the most important and influential games that's ever been created, it does, you know, it's a little rough around the edges, and I also feel that it's not one of the ones that I go to the most anymore. But it's like, it absolutely has to be on the list. Is like, it's so important. Like that game, it's one of the most important video games. That game is arguably responsible for bringing video games back in something that was dead at that time period.
That's very true. That is very true. Yeah, I mean, it is, I understand what you're saying, like the historical context, but most people aren't going to go back and play that particular game when they're, you know, hankering for some Mario.
And I agree, because there are so many other entries other than that one, but anytime I do go to revisit that one, like the music, like it still has some of the best Mario music,
Oh, it
period.
does, yeah.
Like and it's so unique and it's so challenging. That game is still super. I still haven't properly beaten that game yet.
Oh yeah, you skip every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when you beat that game, the first time if you actually do beat World 8, it makes you start all over and all the Goombas are replaced by Buzzy Beetle.
Right.
So it's like you have to do it all over again. And
Right.
like no.
Yeah.
That game is so hard.
It is. It's a difficult game, but
yeah.
the controls are great.
Yep.
It's very, very smooth, like very responsive. Like, yeah, I didn't put it on my list. Just spoilers. It's not on there. Yeah, just it's not. But I agree that it should be. Number 4.
Number 4.
Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that one. Yeah.
I feel like the first one was a little off, Super Mario Land, for the Game Boy. But Super Mario Land 2, like, I just grew up with it. You know, I had the Game Boy. That was one of the few games that I had when I was, you know, a real young kid playing. And it was a great game.
Yes.
Like, it's a solid entry to the Mario. Like, you can't knock it down for anything.
No, it's a great game. It really is a great game. And it's funny because my number 4 is actually Super Mario Land, the first one for the Game Boy.
Really?
And I'm not going to argue that the second one is a better game, because it really is. It feels more like...
It's more Mario.
yeah, it's more like Mario World.
Right.
And but for me, Super Mario Land was like when the Game Boy came out, and I was like 7 or 8, and like playing that game.
Right.
And having recently replayed it on my new Game Boy that I have, like that game is still so much fun. I think it's one of the weirdest entries in the Mario franchise, but I also think it's one of the most fun. Like it's such a unique, fun game, and the music, it's got some of my favorite music in a Mario game.
Yeah.
It's got some really cool sound effects, and while it's like not a really orthodox feeling Mario game, it's it has like the same kind of like, I don't know, some of your basic stuff is still there, like the jumping and like, I don't know, it's a very odd title.
It is, yeah.
But it's like got a spot it's got a really strong place in my heart, like especially after replaying it.
Right. I remember, what is it? The Fire Flower is very different in.
Like it bounces, it like hits the ground,
right?
and it's like you have to like do math, like you have to do like geometry when you use it.
Right. Yeah. No, I remember that, and I remember the coins didn't look right and all this other stuff.
And it's super small, like the pixels are super small.
Yeah. Which, it's a good game, but I prefer the second, obviously.
Oh, and I totally, like, you're like, the second one is a far better game. It's just like the second one doesn't evoke as much like nostalgia with me as the first one does.
Right.
So.
All right. Moving on. So that was number 4.
That was number 4.
Super Mario Galaxy, number 3. I personally am not a huge fan of the Wii, but I feel like Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are like just incredible games on that platform. Like, just, I don't even know how to describe it, but just the physics of that game, jumping from like planetoid to planetoid, getting sucked into the gravity, all the other stuff, like it was just so cool to see that at that point in time. Like, there hadn't been a good Super Mario 3D game since 64, in my opinion. I was not a Sunshine fan.
No.
So to have it actually come back and be like, oh, 3D Marios aren't just like a sort of one-hit wonder. Like, they can make another good one, and then they've been making good ones since then, was really like a good time Mario-wise, in my opinion.
That's fair.
This fucking thing, dude.
There's a fly. If you see us shaking our head around a little bit, there's like a fly in here that's just got it out for us.
Yeah, and we can't. I've been
We
trying
can't
to kill it. Yeah. But yeah, you're number 3 on the list.
Well, I want to talk about Galaxy a little bit before we get into mine. So I'm not a fan of Galaxy. I don't know what it is about that game, but I just don't. I can't get into it. Anytime I try to play it, like it doesn't hold my attention. I don't know what it is. Like, I have Super Mario 3D All-Stars for the Switch, so and it's on there. I should give it a revisit just to be a little bit more fair to it, but it really might just be because I hated the Wii so much that.
No, I agree.
Trying to play it on that, I was just like, I hated the Wii so much.
Yeah, it's more of like a hardcore gamer. The Wii was. Oh my god.
Holy macaroni!
We told you about the fly.
Yeah.
So now we have appropriately themed Mario and Luigi fly swatters.
We're gonna get it. So, I hope. It's been annoying. But we were talking about Galaxy.
Yeah.
I completely agree as far as the Wii goes. I feel like Mario Galaxy is probably one of the few games on the Wii that's not like a party, like playing Wii Sports with your family and stuff that's fun. I feel like they did a great job on that game and the sequel as well.
So my question for you, since I haven't really played too much of it because it just never really caught me, is it actually like a proper Mario game, or is it just kind of like a novelty thing?
No, it's a proper Mario game, yeah.
Do you think that the second one is better than the first one, or? I've heard that a lot.
It's kind of hard to say.
They're similar?
They're very similar games. So I think it's more down to like a personal preference thing at that point.
Yeah, that's fair.
And when anything's like that, I usually give the tie to the first one.
That's fair.
It came up with it,
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
That's fair. I need to revisit it. I should revisit it to be a little bit more fair to it now. But yeah, like part of what makes this list so hard too is like there's so many Mario games and they're all really good.
There are, yeah.
It's just like a matter for me, like when curating this list, it was like it was so challenging, some of it, because it's like, what are the ones that I can revisit the most and that are just as good now, if not better than they were when they originally came out.
Right.
As far as like challenge and like just some of those things that made the series great.
Right.
So that is an interesting choice, and like the fact that it's on your list means I should go and revisit it and give it another shot. So.
All right. And then your
number 3.
Yeah, number 3.
My number 3 is Super Mario Brothers 3D Land for the 3DS.
3DS. Okay.
Yep. That game is
Great game.
tremendous.
Yeah.
I recently, picked up a 3DS here at the store. And that was one of the first games I bought because I had such fond memories of it back when that came out. And it's still like one of the best Mario games. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah. It's challenging. It's so challenging. It's one of the Mario games where I want to do all the things, because like if you get all 3 hidden star coins in that level, you get. You unlock a whole new set of levels and get to play as Luigi after you beat the game.
Yeah.
And it just makes the replay value that much better. It makes me want to explore. It brings back like some of the classic suits. It's got some of the music from some of the better games, as well as doing. Here's this game is a perfect example of like some of my problems with Wonder, is that it honors what came before, but all of the stuff that is uniquely its own stands out and like really feels similar. It feels similar enough, but it's also like unique enough that it's like its own new thing. And just like, to me, that game is like such a that game is amazing. I love Mario. I love that game. It's just like, but again, like all the things that it does uniquely, it's super unique while honoring what came before in like some of the best ways possible. And it's super challenging. All of the levels are super creative.
They are, yeah.
That game is just like a masterwork of Mario, and it probably could be higher on my list if the other 2 games didn't exist. But like
these must be really good games.
Oh, dude, yeah. Mario 3D Land is just...
It is really
fantastic.
Good. Yeah, if you haven't had the chance to play it, highly recommend playing it, especially since the 3DS are, endangered species at this point. So you better get on that, sooner rather than later.
Hey, come get a 3DS here at the store. New Game Plus.
Odyssey.
All right.
Odyssey is like, it's what I imagine when I like think back to Super Mario 64 with like those nostalgia glasses and everything. Like, oh, this game was incredible. Then you actually play it and you're like, wow, this camera's horrible. Like, these controls are not as tight as I remember.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look as good as I remember. It's still a great game. Spoilers, it's not on the top 5. But Odyssey, I feel like, the way that he moves, the whole hat controlling thing gimmick is great. All the different levels, all the different extra stuff that you actually want to do, go around and find all these little things everywhere. Oh, yeah. It's a great game, in my opinion, and I feel like it's like a worthy successor of the... Because other than Sunshine, the 3D Marios are generally like really, really, really good games, especially for their time.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't love Odyssey. I played through it once.
Yep.
After I beat it, I didn't really feel like doing any of the extra stuff, like going back and getting it. Yeah, I just like...
Okay.
Odyssey, like, I agree with everything you're saying about how like beautiful it is, and it is a gorgeous game. It's absolutely stunning. Like the Red Desert level with all the sand and stuff like that. That game, like on my television, was like that game was beautiful.
The moon levels were wicked cool. Yeah.
But it's also, again, like, I don't know if it's just like a modern Mario thing, but, and it ties into the Wonder thing again for me, where it's like some of that game is just too goofy for me that it takes me out of it. Like, there was a whole level in Odyssey where it was like a corn chowder level, and it was just like, and then that like weird human level you go to, like it just some of
New
it.
Donk City?
Yeah, like some of it was just so like jarring for me and weird that I found it hard to enjoy, and I kind of just forced myself to get through some of those
When
levels.
has Mario been like not weird though?
That is completely
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like my threshold for weird. Like I kind of like equate. I have a thing about anime too, where anime once it starts like the characters' expressions get crazy and like teardrops or sweat beads start pouring down. Like that's when I check out. Like I have a hard time with super goofy anime.
Yep.
The same as like with Mario is like once it gets to like I'm spinning around on like a corn cob and there's like soupy potatoes coming down like a river. I'm like, this is a little too much for me. Like this is a little beyond my capacity to.
But it's an Odyssey. It's supposed to be this epic, wide-spanning adventure where you go literally everywhere, including like the dark side of the moon. Like,
And Homer would be proud.
Yeah, he
With
would.
the Iliad. I don't. I get it. Like I know that I'm kind of a minority in this one. Like I know that Odyssey is like widely beloved. And I just, to me, like when I play through Odyssey, anytime when I was playing through Odyssey, the whole time I was playing through it, I was like, man, Mario 64 would be better if it was this. If like this like engine was powering Mario 64, because I agree with you with 64. Like you and I both talked about this when they did the 3D All Stars, where it's like you go back and revisit and you're like, this, it's not, it just doesn't quite hold up as well as you remember it.
yeah.
But I also think that when playing Mario 64, like the level designs are still super unique.
They are.
I think the problem with that game was just like some of the early 3D problems in general.
Right.
But like if that game was to get like a shiny fresh coat of paint using like the Odyssey engine, I think it would probably be on the top 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, Odyssey was just too weird for me. But I love that you love it.
All right. Well, it's on you. Number 2.
Number 2.
Yep.
Super Mario Brothers 3. That game is fucking god. The third one is the first one that introduced the whole overworld map thing.
Yep.
Super challenging. The third one is so hard.
It is.
Like the third one is infuriatingly hard. There's so many secrets in the third one. The whole aspect of like, you don't want to warp around too much in that one because you want to collect like the P-wings from the princess.
Yep.
So that when you get to the end, you can use those to like fly through some of the levels, because World 8, it is by far the most miserable World 8 out of any of the Mario games.
It's pretty crazy.
I just beat the third one for the first time like 5 years ago. And I've been playing that game since it came out, like my whole life.
Yeah.
The third one is so hard.
Yeah, it's
but
really, really hard.
the music, the graphics in that one are awesome. Like it had the raccoon, the first one that introduced the raccoon suit where you could fly.
The Tanuki suit.
Yep. Dude, I love the third one. The third one is just like, it's as good as a Mario game can get, and it's one of those things that has influenced almost every other Mario game from that point, but still doesn't quite do it as well, I think, as the third one does. Like the third one had such a good system.
Well, it doesn't do it the best because it was your number 2.
That's true.
So
what's your number 2? Or unless you have thoughts on Mario 3 yourself.
I liked Mario 3 a lot. It didn't make my top 5 list. I feel like there's another game from that era that does what Mario 3 did, but better.
Which one's that?
Well, it's
is it a surprise?
the number 1.
Oh, gotcha. All
But
right.
I feel like number 1 is gonna be.
It's probably the same. I bet it's the same thing.
It probably is, but
bet we
I have an
will.
honorable mention for number 1, which is, and we talked about this doesn't technically count, even though Super Mario's in the title, is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Yeah.
I would say if we didn't have our caveats there, that would be, for me, a 3-way tie for number 1. But I'll tell you, so I have 2 left for number 1.
Yeah. 2.
Yeah. The first one I think you'll also have as number one, Super Mario World.
That is, in fact, my number
Yeah.
one. That is irrefutable.
Incredible game.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible
Yes.
game. Getting all 96 stars in Super Mario World is like one of those things you do as a kid or as an adult, and you do it and finish it, and you get the little star on your start screen, and you just feel like you're the absolute man.
Yep.
The whole Rainbow Road levels thing where you can teleport around.
Yep.
Like the overworld, they do it a lot better in that, in my opinion, than Mario 3. Mario 3, it feels sort of like a game board that you're moving around.
A little linear. Yeah.
And then when you actually do the one in Super Mario World, it feels like you're going through a world.
There's multiple paths. And
There's
like,
multiple paths.
yeah.
There's secrets. There's the boo houses, all that other stuff. That's
Yeah.
like, but yeah, all the different exits that you can go through, everything else. And yeah, Super Mario World, like, it's hard to say it's the best platformer ever, but it's always going to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I don't. I honestly don't think that's hard to say at all. Oh, do we see that?
We saw a flyby. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I honestly think that's. I don't think that's a. I don't think that's an overreaching statement at all, because I honestly do think it is the best platformer ever made. I don't think anything's even come close to that.
No?
No, I mean, like, there's stuff out there that's great on its own merit,
Right.
but that game was so, like, I remember being, when did that come out? 1990 or 91? 90, I think it was 90.
Probably.
I remember being 10 years old when that came out, and going to like Walmart or anytime you go to a store and they would have like those in like a display case, and you could just play them. I would just sit there in the electronics section and play that until my mom would just come and drag me away from it.
Right.
But that game was like, everything about that game, the graphics are still absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
It's still beautiful. It still has like the best variety of Mario powers, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, the music is like, every stage, the music,
sound effects,
the sound
Yoshi
effects,
eating things. Yeah.
It's, that game is a king of kings in that dimension. It's still one of the best video games ever made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that there's probably a few games that are close platformer wise. Yoshi's Island, obviously, I feel differently than you do about, which I'm sure you agree is a great game as well.
I always liked it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little easy. And there's no sound worse than the sound of crying baby Mario.
Oh, it's so good. It's supposed to be. It's like the Sonic drowning sound.
No, I know.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
The fact that it annoys you that much means they did it right.
Yeah.
If it was less annoying, you'd be like, oh.
But it's a beautiful game.
It is. It's an incredible
stunning.
game.
Yeah,
it's one of the
stunning.
first games I ever saw where I was like blown away. Like, this game is like art, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't just entertainment, or wasn't just like these graphics are good. It was like, wow, like what is that, you know?
Yeah, powered by the Super FX chip too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
And like that game is like, it really is one of those like things where like the Super Nintendo had been into, like, they'd already been out for a few years, so they really like knew how to utilize every drop of power from that.
And
that game's gorgeous.
And they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was your number one just?
Oh, my number one is also Super Mario World, like,
Yeah.
hands down.
Okay.
There's like no contest. Yeah, that game, it's perfection. Like, I'm playing through it again right now,
Nice.
and I just beat all of the special stages. So you
Yep.
unlock the Halloween theme,
Tubular.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And that's so like much fun to do.
So cool.
Yeah,
Like, because you never would have imagined that, like, you know, nowadays games have all sorts of weird little Easter eggs and stuff like that. But the fact that Star Road even existed
yeah,
was mind blowing to us when we were playing that as kids. Like,
Yep.
whoa, what is all this? And there's all these crazy, stupid named levels that like don't even make much sense.
yeah.
And they're all hard as anything.
Yeah, and it's like super 90s. It's like tubular,
Yeah,
radical. It's like all
tubular,
90s.
yeah.
This is like 90s as it gets.
Yeah.
But it's also similar where what's fun about that is like is similar to the ghost houses. You have to beat it twice to really beat it.
Right.
So like each one of those special levels has like a secret entrance and exit. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to find the key. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. One of them involves getting like a Yoshi and like ditching him to like jump off from under it. Yeah. But yeah, that game is just absolutely fantastic, and like going through it again, it's just it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It really is. So my second number one,
Oh yeah.
and this will be a good segue. It's Wonder.
What? Really?
Yeah. Like I've been playing, like we're not very far. Like you're what, World 3?
Yeah.
I'm almost to the end of World 2. I haven't played a video game that just made me smile playing it in so friggin' long. And like I've just been sitting there like grinning at this game. Like it just, what you were talking about with New Super Mario Brothers and how it adds to the series, but still like respects everything
Mario
that came
3D
before.
Land.
Oh, Mario 3D Land. Sorry, yeah. I almost interrupted you and been like, that's how I feel about Wonder, but like I wanted to get past our top 5 so that we could get into this discussion.
Yeah.
That game is absolutely like, it's gorgeous, like the sound, the music. Like I really want to get into what you think about it because I like have zero complaints and could just go on for the hour.
No,
how
that's
good it is.
and I want you to.
Yeah.
Because this is a conversation I was looking forward to having.
Yeah.
So my initial thoughts when I first picked it up, after playing for a couple hours, is like I really don't like this. There's so many games right now out that I want to play, including Spider-Man, and I, being the idiot that I am, spent almost like $1,000 on handhelds this month. So I was trying to limit like my purchases, and I was like, I can only buy 1 game right now instead of 3. Like, what am I gonna get?
Yeah.
And Tom called me the other day, the other owner of the store, and he's like, dude, you gotta play Mario Wonder. It's awesome. And I was like, all right, I guess that's what I'll get, and we can talk about Mario.
Yeah.
Like we've been wanting to do.
Right.
Yeah, my first couple hours into it, I was like I don't really like the music.
Really?
Yeah, I don't really think like it really keeps pushing this one track that it just annoys me. It's like this weird like Caribbean track. It's like one of the first levels and it just keeps going and it just drives me insane. I'm not like a fan of the music. I'm going to get all the negatives out of the way first so that when I do talk about the things I like, I don't want you to think I'm just hating on it. Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of the music. It's so easy. That's the other thing that drives me nuts. It doesn't have the challenge that a lot of games do. The incentive they try to give you for finding all the hidden coins and stuff like that isn't much of an incentive because I honestly find the badges to be kind of... The badge system's like... Rather than giving each character their own unique trait, like say in Mario 2 or any of the other games, like all the characters are the same. So it doesn't matter who you pick. And you get a badge and then they get like a sort of power from it. And I'm like, like it doesn't really incentivize me to, I want the game to have like its own unique flavor rather than like me being thrown into this kind of generic system that doesn't really matter because I don't have a hard time getting any of the hidden things, whether or not I have a certain thing equipped or not.
Right. It
doesn't really seem to matter. And the game I find to be super easy. On the other hand, let's put a little more positive spin on it. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It is.
It's a beautiful game. It controls really well. I love some of the animations, like when he's going through a pipe and he'll like reach out and grab his hat and stuff like that. There's like all these little like animation touches that I love. I can't express enough how beautiful I think that game is. It's like a graphical work. It's nice to see the Switch has still got some flex in it.
It does.
Especially for hardware that old and weak.
Right, yeah. I mean, most people's phones are more powerful than...
And it blows my mind that they're still squeezing every last drop.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I just love how, like, creative and weird it is whenever you get one of, what are they, like the...
Wonder Seeds.
The Wonder Seeds.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I see one of those on the map, I just get excited because I'm like, what's going to happen next? Like, one time it, like, swapped. It was like a semi-water level. And it swapped the top and the bottom with the water. So you were swimming, but now like, oh, you have to run. And then the other time I was like, you're now running on the wall and you got to go like up and down running on the wall versus one time it turned you into a cake. Like I think it's right there. Like, all the stuff they're doing is absolutely insane. And the fact that it's different every time, it's not just like, oh, something weird is going to happen, but it's like one of like 5 weird things. If it lands on my face, don't hit me in the face. That's all I ask. But yeah, I mean, I just want to keep going through the levels so that I can find those things. And it feels like every level there's new enemies that I haven't seen in other Mario games that all do something different. They all interact with the level in a way that like you need to like bait them into, attacking this so that you can go through here. Or they shoot a straw thing that makes a platform that you can jump on. Like, I feel like they just built on, where we were with the 3DS Mario and added enough to it where like the Wii and the Wii U ones, I feel like they didn't really add anything. They were good Mario games, but it was just like, oh, it's co-op Mario now.
Oh yeah, like the new Super Mario Bros. I would agree with you on that as far as that series goes, because I don't mind those games.
They're okay.
They're okay.
Yeah,
they're okay. There's like nothing wrong with them all.
But there's nothing new.
Yeah, there's really nothing new there.
Right.
And I agree with your motherfucker. I agree with your point, and that like the creativity is off the charts a little, but it's also, for me, it's also kind of a detriment because it's so fucking weird. Similar to Odyssey, where it's like, it's distractingly weird to me. Like turning into a giant elephant and spraying water everywhere. I'm like,
that's like one of the more normal things in this one. That doesn't even take the cake when you turn into a cake.
Yeah, you turn into a cake.
Yeah.
You turn into like a spike ball.
Right.
It's super weird. And like, I have like such a problem with that. Like it's so like it pulls me out of it like so much. But there was a point when I was like being like just super surly with the game. And then like halfway through the second level, it brings you to this like beat level where you go up into the clouds and like, it's like, there's like a rhythm. It's like the song kicks in and like these blocks appear and then disappear to the beat.
Yep.
And it took me like an hour and a half to beat that, to the point where I was like ready to throw my controller through my TV. I was so pissed. And like that made me happy. Like that was the first time it felt like a Mario to me. I was like, okay, here we go. Like here's like a little bit of something that I look for in a Mario game. Because part of a Mario game for me is the challenge. Like they're always like, there's elements where like you need to have lightning quick reflexes and you need to pay attention and you need to be patient. That is to me what makes a Mario game truly great, is like those elements need to be in there, because otherwise you're going to die and it's your fault.
Right.
And so far, like in that game, that was the only stage that like really brought that home for me. Like, and like, that's not to say that like it's not beautiful and like I can't admire it for all its other qualities, but I feel like it's just a little too easy, and that frustrates me for a game series that's known to be notoriously difficult.
Well, we're also very early in the game at this point. So would you say, if like you're World 3, I'm World 2.
Yeah.
I think the only like 4-star difficulty I found was like a one off the path where you had to like ride the rhino things. Did you do that one?
I did do that one, yeah.
Yeah, which
I thought that was easy.
It was pretty easy, yeah. But I mean, I feel like, well, I guess my question is, like, as we progress through the game, if we get to World 7, 8, 9, however many, I'm assuming 8, but I have no idea. I looked into nothing, just started playing it, and it becomes difficult, is that going to change how you feel about the game?
I think, yeah, it'll definitely change, and like I don't dislike it.
Right.
But for me right now, to like be realistic, to give it like an incomplete review, I would have to say it's like a 3 out of 5. Like, it's better than average, but at the same time, it's not like anything that's like blowing my mind, other than like how visual like, it is. I can't take anything away from the creativity for it. It's super creative.
It is.
But the creative flavor is not necessarily like my realm of creative flavor.
Right.
Whereas you look at something like Mario 3D Land, again, like I expressed that, like that is a completely original Mario game that takes from the past while doing its own thing. And both of those things seamlessly meld together for me, where that experience is just like, there isn't a stage in that game I don't like. I love everything about it, and it's all, I think it's challenging.
Yep.
And then in this, I'm like, oh, I hate the music in this level. Like, it's driving me nuts. And it's like, look at this weird nonsense. Like, what is going on here? But like I said, I hit that one spot where I hit that difficulty spike,
Yep.
and it was like, okay. And then in World 3, another level, there was something similar where it's like another rhythm thing where it's like, you need to do this, but you probably have to have the double jump badge equipped to do it properly. I started playing it, and I was getting so mad because I had just beat the other one. I was like, I don't want to fucking do this again. So I stopped. But like, yeah, I think it's just we'll have to just wait and see and complete it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't dislike it. I think it's a better than average game. It's just, I wish it's not even like an old man thing. It's just like my own personal tastes in
I
like
think you
weird.
want Mario to be like a certain way, and if they're sort of going in a direction that's un-Mario to you, is that fair to say, or?
Like, in a way, yes, but you are right when you're like, well, how like all Mario games are weird. It's like they are, but like I would argue that all the base level ones, like through the Nintendo, through the Super Nintendo, have like a realm of similarity where the world feels the same, including Mario 64 even. Like, that world feels perfectly at home in any Mario universe.
Yep.
And then you get into, like this one, and it's just like, it feels like a kid took acid and played Mario and was asked to like make a new Mario game. It's like, oh, I want to be an elephant. It's like, I guess. Like, I guess you could do that. Why
I don't
not?
understand where the elephant comes from, but where did the Tanuki suit come from?
Yeah.
Why is a raccoon flying?
I don't know.
There's no such thing as a flying raccoon unless
That's very accurate. Yeah.
It's just we were, 3, 7, 10 years old, and we were just like, yeah, he's a raccoon. He's flying around. Like, makes sense.
In the comments below, am I just an overreactive idiot? Like, is there really no difference between a flying raccoon and turning into an elephant? I don't know. So let me know in the comments below if you think this is a ridiculous argument on my behalf.
Yeah, I really want to see what people think about this one, because like I was sitting there playing it, and I had like, there's two thoughts I had that I want to share. And one of them was like, this is going to be Super Mario World for a new generation. Like, I am blown away by this game so far. Like, I have zero complaints. I'm having so much fun playing through this game. And all I can think about is like the kids now who are coming up, and like this is like their first real Mario game, or the first one they'll remember, the first one they beat just themselves alone, not watching their older brother play or whatever. Like, this is like a seminal moment for that generation of gamers. And I feel like they did it so well that if in 20 years, when I'm like, barely sitting here, like decrepit and falling over, like some kid comes in and is like, this is the best Mario game, I'll just be like, yeah, you're right. Like, I get it. Like, like, it's so cool. And then the other thought I had was like, I thought Game of the Year was like going to be a toss-up between Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom. And this came in at the 11th hour, and I'm like, it might have edged Tears of the Kingdom out for me. I'll have to finish it and see, but like, yeah, I'm absolutely blown away by this game. And I was surprised that you weren't, honestly, because you and I have like a pretty decent understanding now of like each other's like what we like in games, and like the type of games we like. We're both platforming guys. Oh yeah, and I can see what you're saying about some of the difficulty, but I feel like from my perspective, I'm looking at it like usually the first I would say the first 4 worlds in any Mario game are kind of a joke. Other than like Mario 1. Once you get into like Super Mario World and like the 3D lands and stuff like that, like I'm not having trouble at that point.
But there's like, the thing with like Mario World is like, even if you look at that as like the hidden stuff, like, like even as a kid, you have to figure out, you have to beat the ghost house twice to get like the things behind like the doors and stuff like that. Like, it wasn't easy. Right. And like getting free guys wasn't nearly as easy. And like, I don't.
Well, if you beat the even first ghost house, you can just keep going back.
You can, but there's like a character in this one you can play where like you don't even take damage and it's like impossible to die. Like,
they've been doing that for a while with like giving like the little kids like a way to see the game and play through the game, and
I think that's my old man. That's the old man.
But that's like an accessibility. Like, you don't have to pick to be like the little stupid looking rabbit dude. Like, I would never do that in a million. I'm playing Mario. Like, give me the red plumber. Like, Luigi, maybe, if I feel like, seeing you.
You being like a cuck the second. Yeah. I feel like being cucked out. Maybe Luigi.
Yeah. Otherwise, no. I'm playing as Mario through this game right now. Like,
Same.
I saw it said like, oh, if you're a Yoshi or this weird little dude, like, you don't take damage, you don't get power ups or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's for like when your 4-year-old nephew comes over. It's like, I want to play Mario. You just put him on that so he's not like flipping out when he dies every 2 seconds.
I appreciate that you can look at it that way.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I look at it as like what made that game so great in the first place and what made Mario so iconic was it was accessible to everyone, but it was also something that rewarded patience and practice and skill.
It still does.
I disagree because I feel like this is so easy and it's so accessible to everyone that it challenges really no one. I don't, and I appreciate that. I agree with you that there are going to be groups of kids 20 years from now that like this is going to be like the penultimate like Mario experience for them. But these are also going to be the kids that don't revisit the old ones and like they look back at it and they're like, oh, this is stupid. But it's like, no, it's so much better a game than this one is.
I would say maybe not, because I have a lot of, I deal with a lot of gamers on a day-by-day basis. And I know kids who grew up PS2 and later generation who are now coming in saying, I want to play the Super NES and I want to play like these classic games that I've seen, on YouTube or heard about, the old heads talking about them. Like, people are going back and playing it. And really, I feel like if you are someone who loves this new one, you should go back and play Super Mario World. Because, like, yeah, it's like, all right, if there's an argument, it's sort of like if Ali could beat Tyson,
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're getting into that territory with this new one where it's like, is it better than Super Mario World? But the great thing is you can actually go back and play those.
Yes.
And it's more accessible now than ever with,
Yes.
The way Nintendo's doing things, which is awesome. So I feel like if anything, it's going to open up the door for like the newer generation to experience what we experienced.
See, I love that. See, look at that. That's a way better way to phrase that than I did. Yeah, no, I appreciate that outlook and I appreciate your optimism. That I really do think a lot of my problems that stem from this really just might be my being an old crank about things in some instances. But I really do feel that, and it doesn't, however, change my opinion on the fact that I don't feel that this offers the same level of skill or challenge either physically as far as your reflexes go or mentally as a gamer that like the old ones did.
Right.
And part of what it means to me to be a gamer, it's like for me, a side-scrolling platformer is like something like Ninja Gaiden, where it's like you're sitting down and beating Ninja Gaiden,
right?
And like I challenge anybody to do that.
Yeah.
Like that's like a grueling, miserable slog that like requires like so much patience and so much practice. And like I guess I just kind of miss the expectation that when I pick up a game like that, that it's going to challenge me a little bit, that it's going to be a little bit of a, like, it's going to require me to like,
right.
And that's why that one level that I hit that frustrated the hell out of me, that like
was like your favorite level.
That was like, that was the thing that like brought the gamer out in me. And I was getting like, I was like raging. I was like, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to quit. I swear I'm going to quit. And I was just getting mad. But like that is the only thing in this game so far that instilled that feeling in me, and it's the thing that has kept me playing it because I'm like, maybe there is more of this to come.
Right.
And like we'll find out.
Yeah.
Like I said, neither of us have completed it. This is sort of an incomplete review.
Oh, it's definitely incomplete.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both at the beginning, and I feel like we should revisit this when we finish. So
absolutely,
maybe, the next episode or the episode after, when we both have finished the game, we can actually go back. Because you may be right. If we may get to the end of it and there's never that difficulty spike that I'm expecting, and you may hate it, and I may be just so charmed by the game that, I don't care.
But I love that it can do that for you. Like that's the thing is like, and part of the beauty of video games in general is like our opinions are going to vary and like our mileage of what we expect from a game. Right. But like the fact that it has charmed you. And,
it's like
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this has been like the year of gaming.
It's insane.
Like I'm 36 years old, and I've been playing games since like before I could read. And this has been like the best year of gaming, and there's like
Ever.
a major titles that I haven't even gotten to yet,
Yeah.
and I'm still like, I don't have time for this. Like,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
It's insane. And like the fact that this year has been so outstanding
Yeah.
on like new games, my backlog is insane right now. Not to mention the fact that I decided to go as retro as I've ever gone, and I'm like, I have an insane backlog of like old games now to play, and
Yep.
like my collection is just I have spent so much money on video games this year. It has been the most amazing. We talk about it every episode.
Yeah.
But every time we put out a new episode, like there's just more, like Spider-Man's out, like
Yep.
Mario's out,
Right.
Lords of the Fallen's out. Like there's so many games out right now that I want to go buy, and like I I've run out.
There's no time.
Yeah, there's no time.
There's no time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably not catch up on this year for at least like another year. I could
Easily,
say.
yeah.
Just because something else will come out that, I mean, next year I hope isn't as crazy as this one, but like, yeah, it's been almost like too much of a good thing, you know? And I feel bad for some of these developers because some of these games that have come out this year have been really, really good.
Yeah.
But they've just been overshadowed.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked Armored Core. We talked about this before, but I haven't even finished it yet because something else comes out.
Yeah.
And then I have to hop on that and see how it's going. And like, yeah, it's absolutely mind-blowing. Haven't done Final Fantasy, like, haven't even touched Baldur's Gate. And I love
Oh God,
Forgotten Realms.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't wait for you to play that.
Yeah, we'll do an episode on that, but that's something that I need to really like sink my teeth into that.
Yeah, I'm still. That's the only thing I'm playing. I need like. It's the only thing I've been playing for like 2.5 months now,
Yeah.
and like I've thrown in like I beat Infernax
Mm-hmm.
while playing this, and now I'm playing Mario Wonder because they don't really require like the same level of
It's a different type of
devotion.
game. Right, yeah.
I can just step in and out of those.
Yeah.
But it mixes things up for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is just. That game's ridiculous. It's one of the best games ever made. I can't wait for you to play that because
Yeah.
it's gonna do the same thing to you that Zelda did, where it's like that's gonna be it, and afterwards you're gonna need like a break
Yeah.
mentally because
Just,
it's so much.
I might play Inferniacs again.
Oh, that game's so good, man.
Such a cool game.
It's
yeah.
Castlevania 2 but better.
Yeah, it's
so
way
good.
better. Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a more fair version of it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess is that it for us?
Is that it? How long have we been talking? Has it been?
Yeah, I think this is about normal for us.
Is it?
Yeah.
Each time it seems like it feels shorter, but we talk for longer, you know?
That's how it goes when you're having fun, man.
It is, yeah. It was a good episode.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add to the Mario conversation? Like, do you want to talk about any of like maybe Mario's like little side quests or adventures that you think are worth playing?
Well, like Mario's missing.
Did anybody like that game?
It was the first Luigi starring
It
Mario
was,
game.
yeah.
It's the only one to tell Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, that is true. That game wasn't good though. It was a weird game.
Yeah, it was one of the edutainment ones.
Yeah, it was a weird game. I remember that when it
Yeah.
came out.
It was a good title.
It does.
Yeah. I want to hear what other people have.
Yeah,
if you have
absolutely.
a top 5 Mario games, and if Striker's on there, definitely put it down in the comments because I want to hear about it because that game's dope. But yeah, I would love to hear everybody's.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what other people's top 5s are. List them off in the comments below. Give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook. I don't think we ever mention that usually, but yeah,
We
we're
usually don't, no.
At New Games Plus on NH on Facebook in New Hampshire. I'll put a link in the description below and here on the screen. But yeah, check it out. And we also have another video coming up. It might be out by the time this comes out. It might come out after, but Brendan is going to be giving us a tour of the store. So you guys can check it out and see what's going on.
Yeah, we'll go a little bit more in depth than what you're used to seeing in these or the first episode when we're over that way. So it'll be pretty cool. And then I hope to see you in person. And if you want to discuss anything we've been talking about, like I'm here all day, like come in and talk to me. I'm bored. So
And then we'll talk video games with you all day.
all day. We'll shut it down.
Also, yeah, if you like this and you like more gaming stuff, I also have a YouTube channel. Come check out mine. I do a lot of, I have like a lot of arcade stuff and retro stuff and tech stuff. So if you like this, it's just a natural progression of things. It makes sense. Check us both out. Subscribe to both.
Yeah, check it out. His arcade room is absolutely dope. So he's got, actually, you did a walkthrough recently, right?
I did do a walkthrough, yeah, on my,
so
my ROM.
if you love walkthroughs, watch this one and then watch his, and then you can like comment which was better. I guess.
Or which, yeah, they're both awesome.
They're both amazing.
Yeah, I guess that'll do it for us.
That'll do it. All right. Good night, guys.
Later.